Dieses mir Blunzen, and welcome to Shift+F1, a podcast about speedy race cars. That, by the way, is an Austrian German phrase meaning, that's blood sausage to me.
Okay, is that good?
Well, it's an idiomatic expression, Rob, meaning, I don't care.
Oh.
It's blood sausage to me.
So wait, they don't like it either?
Apparently not.
How dare they? That is a quintessential part of an Irish breakfast, I tell you what.
How often? Okay, Danny. How often you frying up some blood sausage in the morning for the family?
Yeah, my vegetarian wife loves it. Yeah.
One team has decided that the Monaco pit lane speeding penalties are blood sausage, and another team definitely has not. I'm Drew Scanlon. Joining me, Danny O'Dwyer. How are you, Danny?
I'm great. It's fun to take a break from the World Cup and remember the other sport that I love, because it's been soccer fever over here, guys. Have you been watching it all? I have been lapping it up like a raged animal. I can't get enough of this beautiful deliciousness.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of it. It's great to have on while caring for babies. Just like the Mummy movies. I've watched The Mummy, The Mummy Returns, The Scorpion King, and did you know there is a film called The Mummy Tomb of the Dragon Emperor with Jet Li?
Hold on. That. I was all out until you said Jet Li, and then I got like 1 foot in.
Yeah.
But Jet Li made bad career decisions. Like the tragedy of Jet Li is his entire career happens before they make The Raid. And we just don't like Hollywood didn't do good fight scenes, didn't know what to do with like real martial artists. And so you get weird shit like Romeo Must Die. But like we are denied what we truly deserved, which was like, do you want to see Jet Li and other stunt performers just like beat the ever-living shit out of each other for like 90 minutes straight?
That's the problem with being first through the wall, and in his part, often literally.
He's so good. They made The One because like who the fuck is Jet Li gonna fight?
Right,
just another Jet Li.
The One. They should have done the. We should have gotten The One versus XXX. They should have done some crossovers like Freddy versus Jason style. What's your favorite mummy movie, Drew?
It's got to be the first one.
Okay.
I don't think you need to see any of those other ones.
You're just a massive fan of Patricia Velasquez.
That's right. Yes, she of both The Mummy and Arrested Development.
Absolutely. Hermano.
Also joining us, that's Rob Zachney. How are you, Rob?
A little heartbroken. I missed the discussion of Hamilton's first win with Ferrari. Kind of a bummer, but it was really wonderful watching it with my parents while they were visiting and hanging out. So that was a really good time. We all sort of looked at each other. It was like, that was old school F1. That's like the F1 we grew up like I watched growing up, which was like not a lot of on-track action, but the strategy nuances. It was riveting.
Yeah. If you are new to this podcast, a very warm welcome to you. And if you are new to Formula One itself, we recommend listening to our preseason primer episode, which assumes no prior F1 knowledge and explains how the sport works and who everybody is. So if you would like to go back and listen to that, it's episode 338. Also, this show would not be possible without our audience over at patreon.com/shiftf1, where every month we release ad-free versions of the podcast early for patrons, along with bonus podcasts and videos exclusively for our patrons that cover racing documentaries and films, F1 video games, experiment with other racing series, and a lot of weird things. So if you would like to support the show and get access to all that fun stuff, head over to patreon.com/shiftf1 or click the link in the show notes. What do we have going on this month, Danny?
We're taking a leaf out of F1's history for most of its first 40 years, and we're doing some reviews of death races.
Okay.
I've got the book right here. I can't lie in front of the book. Okay, it'll
come alive. Yeah.
Come alive and follow me to my home. Yes, we're doing two. We have two movies to catch up on. It's been reliability issues here on the podcast with
our power units are failing.
Yes, exactly.
We now know Drew won't go for that corner. He has a family.
Yeah,
That's right.
You're right. Yes, exactly.
Listen, you lose 1/10 per kid, so I'm down 2 immediately.
Damn, 10/10 is no longer possible for a jury. Yeah, we're watching Death Race. Starting off with the first one, the Roger Corman produced film, co-starring Sylvester Stallone.
Oh my god!
It's bonkers that he.
I
is
didn't
in there.
realize that until I brought up the Amazon page and he was first billing, and I'm like, he is not the main actor in this movie. Why is he? Okay.
But the other thing, and this is a question maybe our audience can contribute to, because when I watched it, it is both a Hunger Games type movie and also a Purge type movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
But it dawned on me, is this the first work where like there's dystopian fiction that posits like a society would turn to blood sport as a national a
This
national
is pre-Running
way
Man,
to like sublimate societal tensions? When does it, because like it becomes like now one of these movies comes out every 2 years.
Yeah.
And like it forked, right? You have the Hunger Games, you have stuff like that. You and then you have like the Purge movies, which are surprisingly awesome, by the way.
Oh,
first one's really good. Yeah.
First one's really good. First
I've not
Purge is
seen
an
the other
awesome
ones.
action movie. First Purge is superb. I think they're all pretty worth watching. Maybe not the second one, but the point is, if people know, I'm curious, what is the first work where you have this notion that a broken society would attempt to like heal itself and preserve itself through vicious blood sport? Because like you have a wave of them in the 70s. You got Rollerball, but
Running Man.
yeah, but and does it crop up in like sci-fi books, short stories before? Because like 40s, 50s, 60s is golden age of like the sci-fi short story.
Yeah. My feeling was either it's a sci-fi, I don't want to say trope, but it's a sci-fi, sort of idea, concept that was brought over, or there is a completely unknown in the West Asian movie that did this. And so, because I feel like half the things that I'm like classic American cinema, I eventually go back and find out that it was based on, Seven Samurai or something.
I mean,
like, because Battle Royale in a way is doing that too, just in a much more literal kind of way.
way later. I mean,
maybe it was based on something.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Maybe it was like from some type of.
Stephen King wrote The Running Man 7 years after Death Race 2000. So
okay, I'm gonna toss out one possible like foundational work.
Formula One.
The Lady or the Tiger, which is an older story than you think it is.
Well, I didn't know about it until 5 seconds ago, so tell me about it.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, you guys don't know The Lady or the Tiger?
No.
You're the educated one on this podcast, Rob. Like, Drew sounds really smart, and he's smarter than I am. But you're the, like, you're the actual, look at those books. Drew doesn't even have anything in his room.
It's a featureless white void.
Okay, well, so The Lady and the Tiger is a famous short story where basically there's a cruel king, and his daughter, the princess, has fallen in love with a man that he finds unworthy of the princess. But crucially, the cruel king, at regular intervals, has a public spectacle that's basically like feeding the Christians to the lions. But here he has one where it's like behind door number 1, for the suitor to the princess, behind door number 1. Will be a beautiful woman, not the princess, but a beautiful woman that this man will be happy to marry, and she's going to have money and power and privilege, and all his life will be secured. Door number 2 is a fucking tiger, and it'll kill him.
Okay.
And
why isn't it called The Lady and the Tiger then?
Well, the tiger, you only get one. You only get one. So the short story is the princess knows which door is which, and indicates to her lover which door he should open.
Oh no, it's a trolley problem.
The question is, does she have some of her father in her? Would she rather see him ripped apart by a tiger than see him be happy with someone else and survive?
Wow.
And so the story ends in this ambiguous note. Like if the young suitor is standing there contemplating before the crowd, which door ought he open? And it's it's unanswerable. But It is a story. It is an early story that has this notion of like an evil despot who is arranging some sort of like violent Romanesque public spectacle. But I still think that's different than like we're doing the NFL or car racing, but for murder and propping up a Nazi regime.
Because then you could just like follow that thread all the way back to Rome,
right?
If you want to, But you're right. It is a different. It is like it is something to do with the I don't know, I guess the public spectacle is part of it, but also the sort of like dressing up of the whole thing into saying this isn't just violence for violence sake. It's actually like some sort of endeavor that is moral.
I can't wait to talk about it because within seconds, it feels like, oh shit, this movie got unfortunately very timely. Death Race was cooking and identified some things that were like, this is a little heavy-handed, don't you think? And
now green pool at the start.
It's like it is within a stone's throw of just being like, yeah, it's about America in 2026. But it's also like, hey, you ever think about how weird the NFL is? America, are you okay? And the answer turned out to be no. Anyway, sorry for that detour.
That's one of two death races we are going to be covering. We're also going to be doing the 2008 soft reboot, remake, reimagining.
Oh, I'm sure it's got all the satirical subtlety.
Oh, yeah.
This one.
Wait, I forgot it's a Statham movie.
Uh-huh.
Death Race.
Oh, it's a Paul W.S. Anderson movie, too.
Oh,
that's just...
Really? You're kidding me.
No way this blows up in our face. Hey, but Ian McShane is in there collecting a paycheck.
Oh,
great.
Beautiful. Man,
fantastic.
Okay.
All right.
That's going to be great.
Speaking of patrons, Danny.
Absolutely. Shout out to all of our incredible title sponsors, some of which are really taking the piss with their names this week. Including last week's new friend, Zylander Al-Gashwari de Plots du Produce, The Military Industrial Complex, Warizzle, R.I.P. Egberto and Igor Furman, That Video Game Podcast, Let's Margo Racing, Eaching Wells, Dr. V, Deange, It's a Me Ferrario, Cryptocurrency, Mojo Nixon, Get Rich or Die Ryan, Agave ATX, Cyphus Training, Turf SCS, Michael Maves, Cigarettes, Telemetrydeck.com, FTC, Badass Calendar 2026, Drew Stewart. My God, I hate you for this one.
Oh, wow.
Streiches Backland mit Dapfett und yeah, it's some sort of chicken piccata, I think, in Austrian.
Steirisches Backhandel mit Erdapfel. Damn it, I can't get it either.
Erdapfelsalat und Kürbiskernöl. Yeah.
Wow.
Why not? Bailey Foot. Thanks, Bailey. Bailey's been with us for a long time, and she
doesn't pull that shit.
The good grace to just keep it that way. Exactly. Shout out to Bailey and Abraham Getchell. They've been hanging out together for a long time. E3 Mysteries.
Oh, miss you.
Absolutely. Hashtag Bunny Still for Work. Snigs. Alex Couchet. Max Voltar Keyboards. Jeff Foster. Troy Stammer. William Rumpf. Lachlan the Maddened Man. Samurai Love Story. And Jason Kelly. Love you all. Thank you for supporting us over at patreon.com/ShiftF1.
Yes, indeed. Well, if you couldn't tell already, it's a bit of a slow news week. But we have a lot of follow-ups on stories we've brought up before, such as the aforementioned Monaco Grand Prix penalties. Just to reset here, there was something wrong with the pit lane sensors at Monaco, and it was just handing out pit lane speed penalties left and right. Many drivers had to serve those penalties during the race, but one, Pierre Gasly, just had his lap time, his 5-second penalty appended to his lap time at the end. That penalty was wiped clean after the FIA was like, you know what, our bad. Here you go, you can have third place back. That didn't sit very well with other teams like Mercedes, McLaren, and Red Bull. Mercedes has decided to abandon their appeal. And here I have a quote from Mercedes. This is from racefans.net. Following the decision to rescind Pierre Gasly's time penalty, it was important for us to explore all available options to address the impact of George Russell's pit lane speeding penalty on his race result. We had a limited time window in which to apply for the rider review during the race weekend in Barcelona and did so in order to reserve our position on this regard. Our subsequent collaborative discussion with the FIA and Formula One has shown their determination to review the unique circumstances arising from the Monaco Grand Prix and to proactively address the factors that caused them. In the face of this clear determination, we have concluded that further pursuit of our right of review application will not serve our team or the sport, and thus we have withdrawn our submission. Danny, that is not what McLaren has done.
No, and which is odd because they seem to be pursuing this for the same reason, which is that, like, I'm not sure they're not going to change the result of the race over this, but the McLaren are pursuing it for similar reasons of we just want to establish some sort of, not even rules going forward, but like process, or like we want to sanctify the fact that somebody messed up. So their line, so they're appealing against this in a similar way to Mercedes were originally. Some wording here from their particular press release. In our view, the subsequent removal of penalty creates a situation in which some competitors are disadvantaged by having acted in accordance with the rules and the steward's decision. Such an outcome risks creating sporting inequity and undermining confidence in the consistent application of the FIA sporting regulations. And this, of course, has got to do with the fact that, as we talked about last week, in the drivers' meeting, this had been brought up that the pit lane, with the way in which you can sort of go as the crow flies, as it were, that the drivers were made aware of this. And what McLaren are basically positing is that, like, look, the people are being treated differently for having listened to that stuff in the meeting or having not done so during the meeting. The final quote I want to put here sort of puts a little bow on it. Our decision to appeal is not directed at any competitor, namely obviously Gasly they're talking about there. Rather, it reflects our belief that the championship benefits from regulations that are applied consistently, transparently, and fairly to all participants. Which is kind of what Mercedes are also saying, and they're kind of like saying, "Oh, well, we had our day in court. We talked about it." Not their literal day in court, but they had, they got to talk to the FA about it and got to, put forth their feelings on it. But obviously, they weren't going to get much of a change. But McLaren, for the moment anyway, still pursuing it.
Yeah, and it's my understanding that the next phase may be the courts. So
who cares?
Stay tuned.
Who cares? You're not even fighting for the championship this year, guys. Chill out. I mean, Russell was the one that got screwed the most, I think, off of multiple penalties and multiple penalties and penalties. And,
oh yeah.
I mean, some of it was not, his engineer's fault or Mercedes' fault, but still.
There is an element of well, and I don't know fully what their menu of options was there, where if they just been like, you know what, screw it, we're gonna stick to our guns. Like that penalty is bogus. We're gonna fight it all the way through. Like, is there a world where you're like, I don't think that first penalty is legit. We ain't gonna serve the time penalty in the pits. And then, like, if you just fight it all the way through, can you get
like
anywhere
during the race?
Because there's the issue of, like, in the criminal justice system, whether or not you are innocent of the crime, if you resist arrest, that is still like that is still a crime. You can't be like
a different crime.
Yeah, you can't be like, no, I did. You like.
I've watched enough body cam videos to know that not enough Americans understand that.
Well,
that the cops are OTT.
Dr. Richard Kimball can't murk a bunch of cops and be like, but I didn't kill my wife. And everyone's like, well, he didn't kill his wife. Ergo, him, the fact that he completely no-scoped Tommy Lee Jones' entire team, that's still a crime. That's still murder.
In the words of Tommy Lee Jones, I don't care.
Right. But I don't know.
It's all blood sausage to me.
I don't. That's actually in the German edition. That's what's. But
Oh, is that what I said in the? Is that what that sponsor's name was?
That's right. Yes.
If you fight it all the way through, can you be like, the first penalty never should have been assessed, and ergo we didn't serve the other ones because the first one was clearly given an error? That's an interesting one.
No, I don't.
But
during the race, I think there are several cases in which you get black flagged for that.
Yeah,
but
but
this is not following.
I know, but this was a case where like the FIA screwed up that race.
Look, I'll tell you. I wasn't on the pod that week, but like I was like a couple of laps into these penalties coming in, thinking, will somebody just not serve it because this is clearly like some sort of technical problem? Like I was starting to think like, is the play here? Don't serve it. Yeah.
If they hadn't, there's a chance that it would have been repealed, right? Like Gasly's.
Yeah, which I think, to McLaren's point and Rob's point as well, the sort of hypothetical, do you not follow the adjudication? It is a very uncomfortable can of worms to open. Like, the rules based nature of sport is sort of important, but yeah, I think like in a way what happened at Monaco kind of undermines the rules based trust maybe in the sport in a weird way. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's always been a sport where you can push the limits and then try and adjudicate it.
This one was embarrassing because it was like there's zero chance this is not. Especially, we hear often on the broadcasts, these are black and white penalties. Mm-hmm. And that is like the speed limit system in particular relies on it being black and white in that way. But the second you have suddenly half the field return positives on a speeding violation, and they don't immediately like have a fallback from that, like, there should have been a dude with a radar gun out there or something at that point. Like, we need to start like spot checking this. But they
knew it was a problem as well, because they brought it up in the drivers' meeting. So it wasn't as if it
that was but they brought up that it was correctly calibrated, but even correctly calibrated, it could still return an error.
Right. Yeah.
But then even with those instructions, people were still getting the positive. So it wasn't correctly calibrated, right? Like the clearly it's something like the problem was worse than they advised the drivers, at the very least. And they just kind of let the field be thrown into chaos and endlessly reshuffle the penalties rather than verify what was going on. And they had time to figure this out because you had like two two full course cautions. You had a minute to think about this. It's a very frustrating penalty to. I like that Gasly gets his position back, basically, right? I like that he was like, no, like, check the tape. I didn't do it. I like that. Yeah. I don't like that everyone else kind of got screwed, and I don't like that the entire race results were rendered opaque in the middle of the race, because you're watching it, and every single driver has that little exclamation point next to their name.
And herein lies the inner conflict. It was awesome. It was so awesome. It made the race so entertaining, like the most boring race of the year. It made it so unbelievably watchable because it was just we just
want something to happen. Like Monaco, you just like want to feel something.
Yeah, and it's that age old problem of like, when do you throw your hands up and admit there's a problem? Because like once one person has suffered, you know what I mean? Like. And then once two and once three, and then at a certain point you're like, well, if most of the field get this, then I guess it all shakes out. You know, it's like, it's fine. Yeah, I don't know. We've never seen this before, but then also I wouldn't be surprised if, like, you know, in 1978 somebody had a bad stopwatch and someone else got pole position. We just don't have like the levels of data that we can, you know, I'm sure this stuff happens and we just don't realize it.
1978, they'd have laughed at a pit lane speed limit. Oh, so wait,
do whatever you want.
Spray fuel everywhere from the future. Like, wow, that guy violated the pit lane speed limit. The what? This is auto racing. The hell are you saying?
Who's John F. Kennedy?
Yeah.
They say as they're refueling the car with a cigarette hanging out of their mouth.
For sure. So yeah, no, I'm with you there too, Danny.
All right, we're going to come back with a little more news here, but first we're going to take a quick ad break. All right, speaking of the courts and, Rob, cigarettes. What's going on?
Well, as y'all have noticed, a lot of the cars are carrying nicotine product badging on them. I think Ferrari has Zyn on the among its sponsors.
What's
and
Zyn? It's like a vape.
It's a pouchless tobacco. Got heavily promoted on
thing.
Rogan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a funny history there. Basically, it's a pouchless tobacco product that I read this history. I think it was invented in like the Netherlands or Denmark and was targeted to women because like smoking, not great for your overall skin health, your teeth, all this. But here's a pouchless product. Here's a smokeless product. And you
this would be great for your teeth.
Well, yeah, but the argument at least was, forget Virginia Slims. That's old tech. This is the new thing. This is how to get this is nicotine for women. But then it got adopted by like manosphere adjacent bro culture.
Okay.
And suddenly Zyn took off as like, you're conscious of your health. You lift and you're like taking all that creatine, but you still
you're kidding.
Need nicotine for the biohacking potential of laser targeting your
So you want your lungs to be operating at optimal, but you don't really care about like mouth cancer all that much or whatever.
Right. So it got heavily promoted, but as with like vaping, there's sort of this argument that like, well, it was the smoking that was the real issue. So these products are fair game. These are good to advertise. And this is how effectively tobacco advertising, except now it's nicotine product advertising, has made its way back into the sport. F1 just got a Stefano Domenicali and Mohammed bin Sulayem, so CEO of F1 and head of the FIA respectively, just got a letter of concern from a lot of attorneys general in the United States. Also copied on it were McLaren and Ferrari, basically flagging that the attorneys general have noted the tobacco, the nicotine product advertising at F1. They've also noted how heavily F1 has various other things targeted to children, like Lego sponsorships and Disney sponsorships, Lego races, etc.
F1 Kids broadcasts.
They also note that clearly other advertisers are aware that this may run afoul of regulations around nicotine advertising, because when Lego makes its model cars, they do not have the tobacco products on the ads. And so that is where this is sort of a shot across the bows from the AGs, and not clear like what next steps would be. Right now, it is just a strong suggestion that F1 terminate the nicotine sponsor partnerships. But these things do have a way of turning into large legal actions in multiple states across multiple jurisdictions. So when you have a lot of AGs writing in about that stuff, and it's not just blue states. To be clear, a thing to remember is a lot of medical costs end up on the budgets of United States, like the individual states, and so this is why even in like the reddest parts of the United States, where like consumer protection, worker protection, all these things are not like really cared about, they took tobacco very seriously because knock-on effects from tobacco use were a serious drain on state resources. So this is not one of those things where you could easily just wave your hands and like, well, in America in 2025, who's going to give a shit? A lot of the states will.
I suspect the tobacco lobbying industry is also like not nearly as powerful as it was, and certainly employs fewer people and has less power than many of the other evils that advertise on the side of F1 cars. Like, can we just not do cigarettes? You know what I mean? Like, we've already got like military, industrial, crypto. You know what I mean? Like, can we just like shake off one of the old evils maybe a little bit here?
You know, I don't think they have. Have we ever had like a Lockheed or Raytheon sponsorship? You know what?
No,
I don't think
but
they've tried
IndyCar last weekend was sponsored by Anduril.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, they're one of the new school ones.
Yeah. 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 So you would say, Rob, then that the AGs are on a mission to winnow the tobacco sponsorship? Okay.
Yep, I think they are.
That's what he said, actually.
No. Okay.
So, can I ask a question about this? Sorry, I don't want to advertise this product. What's the difference between that and just like that, like baseball chew?
It's a pouch, right? It's
Okay,
not like,
so you don't like. Okay,
you're not like touching the
you don't stick it up. Okay,
chew, right?
Danny, if you looked up pictures of Zyn, they have tried to give it the aesthetic of a medical product.
Yeah,
so
I think
it
I've
is-
seen these in like the back of gas stations, right? I see all these
they
circles.
They have caught on enormously. So this is the
and they
is
do the flavors like vape. Oh.
Yeah. Now, I think it does still have the problems of oral use of nicotine delivery vehicles, no matter what, is still pretty bad for your mouth. So that's not the most advisable thing. But, you know.
Do you really need your mouth?
I'm terrified of that stuff. I had a teacher, she was my English and French teacher, and she came in with a toothache one day to school. Yeah.
Do we want to hear this?
She was. I'll tell you the quick version, just in case anyone's thinking about getting into Zyn. I feel like I should, show the other side of it. Yeah, and she told us to be like just chill that day, and then she was out of school a week later, and then about 4 months later, I was at her funeral. And
Oh my God.
Yeah, they'd found a tumor under her jaw, and like, if you find one there, like that's aggressive enough or big enough, you have to like remove the whole jaw basically.
Oh boy.
And she had it reconstructed with parts from her ankle, but then it appeared on the top part of her jaw. And then
This is Roger Ebert, right? Although I think they did get.
Oh,
the
really?
cancer for him.
Is that what happened to him too?
His jaw was removed because he used to be a smoker. And I think he stopped. But yeah, no. If you look at like late life Roger Ebert, his attempts to rebuild his jaw had failed, and so he was just kind of on smoothies, and he talked through a voice assistant, basically. Yeah.
Oh, really? God.
So yeah, like it is. No, that shit is incredibly scary.
Yeah, it's awful.
All right. A few more quick hits here.
Quick hits.
Yeah, speaking of. All right. The FIA has confirmed the 2027 F1 power unit changes. This was kind of a formality because F1 had already, and all the teams had already signed off on the now 60-40 internal combustion engine versus electric hybrid power split. And we got a couple of updates to cars to look out for this weekend in Austria. Ferrari is going to introduce a new fuel and some engine updates. This will be the third version of its power unit. And it is, by the way, as we have mentioned before, they are allowed to upgrade this because of the ADUO, additional development and upgrade opportunities, that will allow teams below the benchmark threshold. Benchmark being Red Bull's internal combustion engine, which was a surprise to Red Bull and everyone. They are also, Red Bull, bringing a bit of an upgrade this weekend. We don't exactly know what is in it, but it is described by team principal Laurent Mekies as a big one. So
it's going to be oil that, because they own the circuit, so it's just going to be like oil slicks that appear when Laurent Mekies presses a button.
That's right. Yes. Speaking of Red Bull, I have a question about their advertising, because they're so like I don't know. All their motorsport stuff and all their extreme sports stuff seems like very much of a kind and is very like cool or trying to be very
disruptive.
Cool. And then watching the World Cup, they have those like 60s cartoon looking things. The Red Bull gives you wings commercials.
Oh, have you never seen these before?
I've seen them before, but I'm just now struck again by how disparate they are from the rest of Red Bull's image.
So I
those
don't
are the
think
OG
come after
ones
me anymore. So I can tell you about this because this was discussed often at Red Bull. The thing to remember about Red Bull is for years and years that is Dietrich Mateschitz's company, and effectively it was a monarchy. And there were a lot of things that Red Bull was historically slow to adapt to because effectively the king of the company had strong personal aesthetic feelings about like what Red Bull ought to be and how it ought to be represented. And this is for example, like why did Monster have a giant fucking can of energy drink while Red Bull stayed on the tiny narrow cans for years and years and years? That was fundamentally because like at the highest level of Red Bull, it was like, no, the second we start like just having big gulp sized Red Bulls, like it just feels like a soft drink, and we're not, we're an energy drink. The cartoons thing was very divisive. I remember at the company because there were people who felt they were some people didn't find them cute or funny. Some people felt they were outdated. You said it was 60s style cartoons. People were like, what? This feels
it's
ancient.
Straight up Tootsie Roll Pop.
Yeah. And the trump card there, the reason like why we were going to have those ads forever, even if you were allowed to do other types of advertising, was Dietrich loved the cartoons. And now what surprises me is they're sticking with them. That I'd always sort of assumed that like once he passed, there was going to be okay, now we can just start doing stuff. But I think the company's also sentimental about it. And a little sentimental about stuff that Mateschitz like did and liked and things he chose to make a priority. And also, and I do think this is not entirely wrong. Once you start like building a brand is hard. Building identity is hard. Tearing it down is very easy and happened very fast. So I would not be surprised if like, they're a little corny, they're a little clunky, but this is Red Bull, and you instantly know a Red Bull ad before you see a logo, before you hear a word.
And they're so they're still disruptive. They're still like, I remember when they're first on TV in the UK and like in Ireland in the 90s, and thinking like, what is this? And like one of them comes on now, and you still go, what is this? Like nobody does these. They're so bizarre.
They are distinct, but they are bizarre. Like the I guess you could call it writing, but like the things that happen in them are like, on the like a Marmaduke strip or something. It's just like it's not particularly creative. It is just kind of strange. It feels very European.
So I think that's part of it. I think there's something like it's almost like a intentionally bad joke where they are, like your sort of Norm Macdonald anti-humor or something, where like the humor is in the absurdity of the joke as much as it is what's happening in the joke. I think that might be part of it.
I think the other angle is, from Red Bull's perspective, the high energy stuff they do is their live events. Red Bull Air Race, things like that. So like you don't want the ads necessarily to
try and ape that, or
right because the thing is like the real special thing about Red Bull is all the earned advertising it gets when people are pulling videos from extreme sports events, air races, winter sports, things like that. And so it does, there is a logic to it.
It's kind of their like Christmas Coke commercial too. It's like one of the only things you can point back to and go, because like a lot of Red Bull advertising, I feel like gets dated pretty hard. Like, it was cool that it was in Wipeout 2097, but like that's not, particularly current anymore. Whereas
these ads exist out of time.
Yeah, kind of, right? Like Drew said, they're actually so old. They're 30 years older when they first appeared.
Man, also like, the Coca-Cola Christmas bears, like Add that to things AI took from us.
Oh my God, I hate those ones.
You had those
so
beautiful,
bad.
awesome little Christmas bears, the CG Christmas bears, and like little baby bears getting the Coca-Cola from mom, and it was like sweet and good and like cute as hell. I'd watch a movie about those little bears doing bear things, and now you get these like horrible AI slopfest ads with
so bad.
slop polar bears that briefly appear to remind you of when the world was good. And then you just move on. Nothing as dystopian as, did you see the McDonald's Christmas ad that just came out that was AI generated?
No. Oh, I don't think so.
I'll try to dig it up for you. It is one of the most appalling things I've ever seen. It's surprising to a degree, like, generative AI can like do a surprising job of like, oh, this looks like convincing video, but they all have weird properties to them. And the other thing is, anytime AI tries to make something funny happen, it's a kind of weirdly violent and disturbing and like ugly, and it's deeply fucked up. But I'll pull this ad. McDonald's was sort of showing off a Christmas ad they came up with, and it's one of
this one with the talking cookie and stuff.
It might be.
I'm watching something right now that seems AI. You can just tell it's because everything's at a 90 or 45 degree angle as well.
It's pretty gnarly.
All right. Well, speaking of Red Bull and all its disparate properties and promotions, the Red Bull Ring, Danny.
Yes, the Österreich Ring, the Austria Ring, or whatever circuit ring.
Jason A. Stryker ring. Yes,
exactly. It was built in 1970. Replacing what they had previously, some sort of Air Force base they used to drive around. And then it became the A1 ring in 1996, which is when its sort of F1 lifespan started. Sorry, that was my Discord notification. You can blame Rob for sending it and me for having my volume open on my second machine here. It's a fascinating track. It's been since taken under the Red Bull banner. I want to say like 10 years ago, something like that. No, maybe a bit more, 15 years ago. It only rejoined the calendar in the past half decade.
It wasn't A1 sauce. Was it?
I don't.
Okay.
We
didn't go from sauce to energy drinks.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I think the people at
they just wanted to be first in the yellow pages.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Got it.
A1, exactly. I'm sure it means something like that. Maybe something to do with Austrian road names or something. But yeah, it's been it's came back on the calendar, like I said, I don't know, half dozen years ago, and it's been a great, maybe a bit more actually, but it's been a great addition to the calendar since. It's a funny track. It's like a go-kart style track, but at Formula One size. Not quite Portimao levels, but it has a surprisingly few number of corners on it, even for a short lap. It's 71 laps long, 4.32 kilometers, about 2.68 miles. And it's 10 turns, but like most of those 10 happen in the last sector. On the last third or half of the track for sure.
You're right. It's like someone took a square and then punched it on one side.
3 sides of it are pretty much like right angles. Like you drive down the start finish straight, you take a right. You drive up a big hill, you take a right. You drive down there for a while, and then it gets a bit squiggly until it gets to the end. What this means is that we have 4 straight mode zones for this one. The one on the in sector 3, and then the 3 back-to-back that I previously mentioned on turn 1, 2, and 3. So the thing about this is obviously top line speed matters a lot here. You have a lot of downforce on some of the fastest parts of this track because they're either uphill or relatively flat. And high-speed corners is also something that is very beneficial. So this is a real, like, our Ferrari going to do well here type thing. Because when they were driving in Barcelona in the heat, and I'm sure we'll get to the heat in a second, Drew, they obviously were enjoying the benefits of that. They seem to be pretty good in the high-speed corners as well. The straight line power is going to be a big factor here, obviously, because we have all of these straight zone modes and these decent overtaking opportunities into these especially the 3 turns that I've mentioned. But in previous years, we did enjoy some weirdly close racing here at Austria. Like we've had a lot of back and forth stuff that we enjoyed in the first couple of races of this new era as well. So I'm sort of like knocking on wood, optimistic that this might be a particularly good showcase for the new regulations. If the cars are able to, sort of like in Canada, for instance, like follow each other lap after lap after lap, this is the type of track that allows you to have multiple re-overtake points on it. Ultimately, this is a track, I think, where it's just, it sounds silly to say if you're new to F1, but speed is the most important thing. But it really is here. Like they're in high gears for almost the entire lap. But I think the other side of that particular coin, and this is going to be the worry maybe for Mercedes given recent form, is how do cars perform under that duress? It gets hot. It's high. It's a track where you don't get to ease on, warm up your brakes all that much, and your tires are almost too warm. So it's going to be very interesting to see how those factor, and also how these power units are able to survive 71 laps of beautiful Austrian Alps.
Yes. I have rated, as you said, Danny, I think highly of this track. I've rated it in my own personal ratings a 3 out of 4 for the past 4 years.
Nice.
So and one of the few tracks I think that has been that consistently high.
It's also gorgeous. It's also like,
it's really
I just want to go there. I just want to go there and frolic in the fields.
Although maybe don't go there. I've heard a lot of pretty bad stories about the fans there. Remember last year there was some really, anyway, last
They'll
5
be watching
winners.
the World Cup.
Yeah,
that's what they care about now.
Last 5 winners descending from 2025. Lando Norris, George Russell, Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, and Max Verstappen. Verstappen's won 4 times, the most of anyone at this track.
It's basically his home race now, especially as Zandvoort's gone again.
True. But as you mentioned, Danny, the heat is going to be hot. We are looking at high 80s, like 87 on qualifying day. That's 31 or 32.
With the altitude,
Celsius.
the Mercedes got to be sweating, right? They've already had 2 engines blow. Historically, they don't do well with heat.
As Drew the pilot knows, density altitude.
Oh, there you go, Danny.
Even more dangerous,
You're
right?
watching a lot of crash videos.
Sure. Hey, I fly into Utah every now and again.
Oh,
I gotta keep my eyes open on this stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think that's a big part of it.
And not any cooler on race day. So like 88 degrees.
There is a heat wave going through parts of Europe at the moment. In Ireland, it's in the 80s. It's like 32 today, I think. So It's just pretty crazy for a country, and also not much air conditioning happening in Ireland either. So rough times.
All right, well, let's run down the driver standings as we head into the Austrian round. Kimi Antonelli on top with 156 points. Lewis Hamilton in second with 115. And then George Russell, the other Mercedes, in third place with 106. Charles Leclerc is in fourth with 75. Lando Norris has 73. Oscar Piastri in sixth with 68. And then Max Verstappen in seventh with 55 points. Pierre Gasly, with his reinstated third place, is in eighth place with 41. Isaac Hadjar, who had inherited that third spot, is in ninth with 34. Liam Lawson's in 10th with 28. And then we've got Oliver Behrman with 18, Franco Colapinto with 16, Arvid Lindblad with 13, Carlos Sainz with 6, and Alex Albon in 15th with 5. Then we've got Esteban Ocon with 3, Gabriel Bortoleto with 2, Fernando Alonso with 1, and then behind him, the 0-point scorers of Nico Hulkenberg, Valtteri Bottas, Sergio Perez, and Lance Stroll. In the team standings, Mercedes is on top with 262 points to Ferrari's 190. McLaren is in third with 141, followed by Red Bull in fourth with 89. Alpine is in fifth with 57. Then Racing Bulls in sixth with 41. Gene Haas and team have 21 points in seventh place. Then we've got Williams in eighth with 11. Audi in ninth with 2. Aston Martin in 10th with 1. And Cadillac in 11th with 0. All right. Should we take it to some emails? Shift+F1podcast@gmail.com or f1.cool/emails. Rob, what are we kicking off here?
We got one for Danny here from Liz about a bit of confusion about when and how you serve penalties.
Oh, yeah, that'll happen. Liz writes, I'm a new-ish F1 fan, and I've learned so much from your podcast. Thanks for all your work. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you.
A question I had while watching Monaco today was about how time penalties are allowed to be served. For some, God, that's a terrible race to, if you're newish to F1 Monaco.
That'll be confusing, yep.
We were all confused. For some reason, I thought that time penalties were not allowed to be served under a safety car or virtual safety car because the other cars are moving more slowly, and therefore the allocated time standing still would have a smaller impact than if the other cars were moving at speed. The same reason that the pit stop under a safety car or VSC is an advantage, even though the time spent in the pit lane is the same. Exactly. This was not the case today, as some of the drivers/teams did serve their 5-second penalty when they pitted under safety car. Some did not because they didn't pit, and notably Russell and Mercedes only sort of did. The commentators I was listening to, F1 TV, didn't mention this at all. Is there only a restriction for VSC because the field doesn't bunch up the way it does with a normal safety car? Is this something that has changed fairly recently, or did I make this up completely? I'm feeling like it's probably the last one, but I wanted to check. Thanks again for your podcast, and congratulations to Drew on the new edition.
Oh, thanks, Liz.
Thanks, Liz. Yeah, there was a lot going on in Monaco, and for sure, it does seem like it is an advantage, obviously, to serve a time penalty during one of these windows. There is no restrictions, and I cannot remember a time, because when safety cars and virtual safety cars, especially, they're a fairly new edition, came in. I cannot remember a time where there has been any restrictions on serving the penalties. Obviously, you can't in a red flag situation or something like that, but
which may be what you're thinking of.
Perhaps, but then a red flag, you can't do anything under a red flag. You can't, there's no pitting under a red flag. You just come in, you know what I mean? The race is neutralized, or the race is essentially suspended under a red flag. So, it's the luck of the draw, and it's the same reason I suspect some of them was hanging out there a little while, was to see if in Monaco, a track where people crash and have their cars lifted out, often has safety cars and virtual safety cars, were anticipating or hoping that they might get one for the penalties as well. So no, there is none. It does seem unfair in some way, but then I guess the alternative is, the issue is that those penalties have to be served within a certain time frame, or at a point at which you come in. Like, you're not allowed delay your penalty either. The only situation in which that can be the case is if you finish the race. They can't force you to take one unless you've gotten a drive-through or something like that, and then that time is added onto your race at the end. But if you come in for a pit, you have to serve the penalty. So if you come in for a pit during a safety car, you have to serve the penalty. So that's sort of the why that might override any sort of other alternative reason why you wouldn't be allowed to do so. And as Rob was saying before we came live as well, there is no situation like in other racing series here in North America where the pit lane is closed under certain situations. They don't do that in F1 unless
there's like a clear safety reason, like a car is stopped in the pit lane.
Correct. And sometimes they should close the pit lane and don't, like at the end of the Baku race a number of years back, when there were people setting up the podium. Do you remember that? Right at the end, and Gasly came in. Wow. Yeah. I think a couple of people came in, actually. I just remember Gasly. Gasly always getting in trouble with pit stops, pit lanes, it turns out. So hopefully that answers your questions. There is no restrictions that I can think of for serving those penalties. It's certainly not in relation to safety cars or VSCs.
Yeah. They may have changed these off and on over the years. Like, it doesn't take long before you realize doing penalties in motorsport, someone's getting screwed. You're going to hit the edge case immediately where you realize, like, that doesn't seem like that was assessed fairly. In IndyCar this past weekend, Felix Rosenqvist was, like, poised to just walk to a win, and a disabled car on the track triggered a pit lane closure right before he was going to cycle in for the pits, and like just took him out of contention. And so like it is surprisingly tricky to handle the pit interaction, penalty interactions in a way that like doesn't distort the race. Drew, you want to read this next one?
Yes, Matthew writes, "Hey guys, sorry if you've covered this already, but does anyone know how I can get crofty when I rewatch the race on Apple TV? Google hasn't been much help. I got into F1 during COVID, and Alex Jakes and Julian Palmer are killing me. Crofty and Brundle are the F1 soundtrack to me."
It's so funny how people are like, oh, I can listen to both, but I do like Crofty and Brundle a lot because it feels like old F1 to me, and it's, you know.
There's two things. F1 mixes the commentary so freaking loud relative to the engines. It's like, we don't want you to miss a word of Alex Jakes.
Oh, funny.
And so like if you go back to the Sky one, it's much more like, oh, I hear racing, and then Crofty is sort of like yelling over it. It feels very organic, like you are there. F1 TV is airless, and if you try to hear the engines, you're just gonna get Alex louder and louder and louder. And he and Crofty's understudy for Sky, to me, both have a certain like practiced UK. The comparison is like the Total Biscuit delivery. If you follow like video games, the like
right
kind of officious and over enunciated like approach to doing commentary, and it is incredibly grating. I find so yeah, I understand the sympathy.
Yeah, so this is a little weird now that we've switched to Apple TV as the sole F1 broadcaster in the US. What you have, so if you watch Formula One using the Apple TV app, you are going to get what I think is a subpar experience. You're forced to listen to and people like Alex Jakes and Julian Palmer. I happen to really enjoy Palmer's insights a lot of the time.
Yeah, me too.
But you are forced to listen to them. You also get like, I think if you watch on the Apple TV app, all of their like the official F1 TV pre-show, it doesn't just start at the broadcast, right? So that is also a bit of like, all right, I got to fast forward like 30 minutes. This is annoying. So the way that we recommend that you do this is, if you're in the US, you can create an F1 TV account, which is free. And then, you know, like I think it's f1tv.formula1.com. Then in there, you can tie your Apple TV account to your F1 TV account.
Okay.
That will allow you to install the F1 TV app on your Apple TV or whatever, you know, device you use to watch these streaming services. And then you should watch F1 using the F1 TV app. Interestingly, the F1 TV app allows you to change commentary from the official F1 TV commentators to the Sky commentators of Crofty and Brundle. They call it if you hit play on whatever session you're wanting to watch, there's a little icon of like a speaker. And if you highlight that, it will default to, I think it's just called Formula One commentary, but if you go to, or English commentary, if you go to English International, that is the Sky feed. So that is what you want. So you have to first tie your account to an F1 TV account, install the F1 TV app, and then within the F1 TV app, every time you want to watch something, you have to hit play and then change it to English International.
Does that work for the live stuff as well?
Yes.
It does. Okay. So what I think I did not know about that solution, actually. That's very cool. I didn't know you couldn't. I guess I don't have an F1 TV account either, a paid one now that it's on Apple TV as well. I hadn't considered that. I wonder if Matthew is also referring to, I have found you can find the Sky broadcast live on Apple TV, but they bury it. Like the first race, I had a friend who was able to tell me exactly what to look up on the search terms, but I have struggled to find it since. And what's really interesting about that, I guess this is part of some sort of broadcast deal where they're like, look, you can't just write us out of the F1 TV stuff, right? Like we need to be there as well. But like it is genuinely hard to find, and it has like a sort of a default logo. And if you type F1, you get the movie, because like Apple TV doesn't have just like numbered channels, so right. you have to like do all this awful Googling to find it. But I've struggled to do so. But what's interesting about that is if you tune into that just straight up shows the Sky feed.
Oh, so that's interesting, and that is something I should note here, because with my solution that I just described here, if you turn your commentary to the Sky team, you're still getting the official F1 TV video broadcast. Yeah. And so, especially in things like qualifying, you will not see when they say like, "Oh, let's go to the Sky pad," and here's Karun Chandok.
I missed the Sky pad so bad.
Yeah, so you will hear him describing things that are not on screen because Sky has overlaid stuff.
Yeah, but so this was the first time in years I've caught maybe two of the race, maybe more of the races this way, and I feel like you're not able to switch commentary on there. But anyway, but even like Brundle's track walk now, which for years was like all the pre-show. I've seen that now on Apple streaming, which for years was only available in the UK and Ireland or wherever you were watching it. So
Matthew's talking specifically about rewatching.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure, Danny. Do you know if those are available?
No, I have never. I have not been able to find them on demand, so I don't know. Yeah, maybe somebody somewhere has figured out some like web hook or something, and you could get it to work, but I don't know. Yeah.
Great system we got here.
Yep.
Oh, somebody else just did write in. I'm also sick of the commentary in general. Well, Apple will let you just watch it with only track sounds. You can just turn off all commentary and just be one with the sound.
Sicko mode.
Yeah, we've done it.
There's also F1 Kids.
F1 Kids.
Yeah. Or you can just like follow Lance Stroll around. You can be on his camera the entire time.
True. With Brazilian commentary if you want.
They love him down there. King of the Southern Hemisphere, they call him. Because of all his oil. I don't know. What's his dad do again? Fixes companies? I don't know.
Sort of, ostensibly. All right. Sean writes, my question, these engineers and techs, most of the engine manufacturers, have been perfecting their craft for years. How the hell does something happen like Max's car shitting the bed at the start? It happened once per year per person, or maybe a few times for a certain team that was less experienced. I'd understand if that were the case, but this seems to happen to different people every race, either not getting to the start, happening at the start, or a car dying shortly into the race. During the race, it makes a little more sense because there's only so much you can control when a machine is going 200 miles per hour. But how do these cars not even start or make it to the start? Help me understand. Is it as simple as we're dealing with machines that can make or break based on how tight they screw one of thousands of nuts and bolts? Love the pod. Thanks, Sean. There are a few things happening here. One is that overall, the answer is complexity. That the power units and the powertrain is a lot of different components that are all working together, and each one is enormously complicated in itself. And so put them all together, and the odds of there being like small but ultimately fatal issues are much, much higher, especially because they are trying to hit certain mileage distances with all these components. And so they are pushing things to the point where they wear out. By the time a power unit is on its third race, some parts might be basically ready to be replaced, and they're already very shaky. The other thing to bear in mind is these things are now entirely governed by electronics, and this has been the case for years and years and years. The precision that they operate at, the way transmissions work, all of it is governed by like electronic systems that can also throw their own faults, and you get the various gremlins and issues that come up with any sort of software driven device. The other thing I'd point out is how often have you had a car just die on the road versus not start? Like, because that is like any sort of piece of machinery. The failure state is generally like when it's about to fire up or start, it's very rare that they just drop dead in the middle of work. And that's because the whole like startup process is one of the more intensive things that machinery can do, and that is where you tend to encounter the fatal issues. Once a machine is going, as we saw with Antonelli, it's probably going to be heat in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, ultimately, all the teams, every single component is like bespoke. It's like hand built, custom built. They are being pushed to the end of their life cycle. And there's so many different pieces of it that they can all go wrong at any moment. And then the startup process is your highest probability moment for when an issue is going to manifest.
Yeah. I would say, obviously, the new regulations sort of are a multiplier on top of all of what you've just said as well. And the last thing I would say is that, like, yeah, you make the great point that, like, obviously most things, especially mechanical things, tend to have issues or present their issues rather when they start, because that can, it's sort of like, I don't know, it's like temporal or something. It's like if something's wrong, you're going to get some sort of but I think what is important in relation to like the start in particular, just outside of that logical conclusion, is that these machines are designed to operate at temperature, and like the window at which these machines are cold during a race weekend while they're racing is like less than 1% of the time that they are being used. So like when they are starting, and they do all these things to try and ensure that they're up to speed and up to heat and all that sort of stuff. But like, that is the hardest part for these, it's like an airplane. An airplane is designed,
I was going to say, it's just like the SR-71. It's famous for leaking fuel on the runway because
Really?
Yeah, because at the extreme heats that it's supposed to be operating at, the metal actually expands and closes those gaps. Yeah.
God, I thought you were being facetious, but
no.
There you go. You're actually pulling it up. Yeah. Like airplanes are happiest when they're at 35,000 feet, like at full power, probably, than they are at, takeoff and landing. It's like a different set of rules you have to follow. Not to freak anyone out.
Everything has to be built for a performance window.
That's true as well. Which planes are obviously is not the case, but you're right. Yeah, especially in this stuff, you're optimizing for the performance window.
It's like planes are not like a jetliner isn't like built for operating at like takeoff and landing stresses all the time. That is a thing it goes through, and then it's assumed it's going to be cruising for long distances at a certain altitude where certain temperatures are expected. That is like every piece of machinery, they're making choices about like, okay, things are going to get a little gnarly.
Yeah, I bet you can make an F1 car that starts like every single time, no matter what.
Yes.
And it is,
this was
5 seconds off.
Because the difference here is margins. Like you could build a backup for all of these systems, but that adds weight.
Right.
Yep. So,
and in a plane, for instance, you would. You know what I mean? Like you would have backups to hydraulic systems in case one of the engine goes and your electronics don't work or your fly-by-wire doesn't. But like in an F1 car, it's like, nope, don't eat dinner.
And this is one of those things where I don't really care for the F1 Manager games very much, but one of the things they do bring across very well is durability means weight. Like one of the ways you get performance out of things is you make the parts more delicate. And you shave them down. And so again, the idea is the thing is just durable enough to survive the races that you're asking of it. And if you're just a little bit wrong, it's going to break. Running a little long here, but I did want to read this email from Sky, who went to Monaco, courtesy of one Drew Scanlon.
Oh, that's what those were your tickets. Oh, Sky. So Sky was posting pictures in the Discord all that weekend. It was class. They were like, especially, it was also very strange because their name is Sky, and so like it was very confusing. Yeah. Exactly. Everyone in the chat was very confused, but that's awesome. Yeah, go for it.
I'm writing into debrief after a Monaco Grand Prix experience. I cannot thank Drew enough for selling us his tickets and letting us enjoy his 40th birthday plans. My wife, my 15-month-old daughter, and I had an incredible time. First, F1 Experiences is a pretty solid group to use for a ticket package. They make the logistics simple, and everything is pretty well guided. The ticket pickup in Monaco was straightforward, and the extra experience of the yacht on Thursday was incredible.
Oh my God.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that.
Can I just say, I am both really happy for Sky, and I'm like second-hand gutted for Drew.
I'm amazed that I'm not watching like tears roll down. Yeah, you know what though?
I'm sure he's very happy for his twins, but like, this sounds, No,
this is fun. This is fun. I'd like
okay.
You better believe that Daniel Ricciardo's brewery, the Venerable Blue Coast Brewing, was on offer.
Oh my God!
In addition to any beverage or hors d'oeuvres you could want, and our bonus guest Bruno Senna was game for a few quick questions after his very brief appearance. It also helped us connect with great folks from Hawaii, Scotland, and Australia with whom we enjoyed the race on Sunday.
Quick interjection: if you're a patron, you can go watch myself, Rob, and Drew drinking Blue Coast beers in a very strange hotel. Was that what we did? Blue Coast there?
Was awesome Airbnb. That was an incredible Airbnb with a real good like downstairs basement den.
Did we also drink Rich Energy at the same time?
We did.
What was the one we did in our backyard? In my backyard?
That was Daniel Ricciardo's wine.
That was the wine. Okay, cool. Okay, so there's plenty of beer drinking or alcohol drinking reviews over on the Patreon.
Yeah.
Video reviews.
Luxuriating on a yacht for 8 hours did wonders for us and also made me loathe the people who get the experience on the regular a bit more. I also learned there are many other similar Monaco F1 experience providers, including ones that facilitate apartment rentals with trackside views that aren't that much more expensive than F1 experiences. Food for thought for any interested. Second, Monaco is the best F1 attendee experience I've had. I've been to 3 F1 races and a slew of other motorsports events across North America. But access to the track, concessions in the city, and by the track, and the viewing experience were all better than any other race I've attended.
Wow.
Among Coda, Suzuka, and Monaco, food and drinks were cheaper in Monaco. There were free sunscreen and water stations, abundant across the city and by trackside. And the grandstand seats had ample bathroom access. As a contrast to Rob's Miami experience, everything from the round-trip train rides from Nice to the ability to buy a cheapish sandwich, €8, bested any other F1 event I have attended. That's to say nothing about the incredible scenery everywhere you look. Shops, restaurants, and cafes throughout Monaco are open all race weekend, so you never feel the financial exploitation quite the way you do at American and some European sporting events.
Wow.
The race experience was great until the Stroll crash and thereafter, when it became deliriously fun. Bright sun had everyone a little dehydrated in a good way, and everyone was buzzing from the moment Stroll went to the wall through the blare of the ship horns in Port Hercule in the cool-down lap. The atmosphere was positive the whole way through, and almost everyone, save some Verstappen fans who left within minutes of his early retirement, seemed to be having a great time.
Come on.
Man.
Amazing.
What a bunch. Fourth, staying in Nice and commuting for the race is the way to go. Pro tip, stay near and get on the trains from the closer to track Nice station instead of the main station. The main station line to board the train was purportedly 1.5 hours long. But our longest wait to board all weekend was 20 minutes. Once on board, it's a short 25-minute ride to the Monaco station. The short distances worked wonders to ensure our daughter was not too bothered by the transit times. Fifth, should Drew and his family make the wise choice to take a trip in the next year or two, it is very doable with a young child.
Wow.
Many of the bathrooms around Monaco had changing tables or enough space to maneuver. Most of the people were delighted to see young children running around. And most importantly, the track is stroller-friendly with elevators to take you down towards track sides and around the city. While twins are definitely a tougher task than one very stare-happy 15-month-old, we encountered many parents with young children. Our daughter had a great time on Saturday when she joined us.
Aww.
We also highly recommend in-law or parental support to enjoy at least 1 to 2 days without the kids, if possible, but don't be deterred from making the trip if you have young children. More than any other road course I've been to, the logistics worked well, and there was ample space in the city to enjoy some downtime between race events. I cannot thank Drew enough for letting us enjoy this experience. I love southern France and relished getting to enjoy an almost 3-week vacation with Monaco as the capstone.
Wow.
I hope Drew and his family get to enjoy a version of our trip for themselves and would give any holdouts the unequivocal recommendation: Monaco is worth it. Feel free to share as much or as little of this as you want and enjoy the photos. Sincerely, Sky.
Fantastic.
Wow. That's great. I'm so happy that you had such a great time, and thank you again for bailing me out. That's great. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of surprised, honestly, that but also not surprised because I feel like because Monaco is just such a, I don't know, there's a lot of money there. They probably know that their clientele expects to have a plush time. So that's great to hear.
Yeah, I'm same with you. I'm surprised that, like, I assume on a normal weekday, like, Monaco's just like any Mediterranean town where there are fancy places to eat and there's cheap places to grab a quick sandwich. But for some reason, I suspected that over a F1 weekend, they all gouge people. But, like, for whatever reason, cultural, or maybe there's some business agreement, or maybe everyone's just getting paid anyway. It's really cool to see that. I wonder if it also has something to do with the fact that, like, this is incredibly disruptive to these people's lives who live there, and so for them, for the weekend to be something where they can still bring their stroller down the street and that all the shops are still open, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That they don't have to pay more on a week where F1 happens. Like, I wonder if there's some laws around that or regulations or whatever. But God, yeah, Monaco is one that I, like, never thought I wanted to go to for the two reasons of, one, I assume it's one of the most expensive ones to go to, and two, I thought it's probably, like, super cramped and awkward and hard to do with a family. And there you go. Both of those just evaporated.
All right. Well, it is still really expensive. At least the
I
tickets
guess.
that, from F1 experiences. Man. All right. ShiftF1podcast@gmail.com or f1.cool/emails. You can
Thanks,
also
Sky.
hit us up on the socials. That's us around the internet. Should we take it around the world, Danny?
Let's race around the world.
All right. The World Rally Championship is in Greece for the Echo Acropolis Rally,
Acropolis Rally.
which is cool. MotoGP is in Assen, the Netherlands.
Ooh,
for
I love
the
Assen.
Round. Formula 2 and 3 are supporting Formula 1 at the Red Bull Ring this weekend. We have the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series.
Dwyer.
Yeah, so Dwyer could go. They're racing at the Sonoma Raceway for the Pit Boss / Food Max.
Which one's this?
250. This is O'Reilly Auto
No,
Parts.
which NASCAR? No,
NASCAR O'Reilly.
it's later than usual.
Yeah.
It's on this. I thought it was on when I was in. Oh, it wasn't. I watched that race. God, it's usually on start of June, which is when Summer Games Fest / E3 is on, and I've had to sacrifice that a few times to go. I did not know it was on this weekend.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I might go.
You should.
I should.
There's two. We got the Saturday and Sunday.
And I'm
by the
going
way,
to I'm going to a World Cup game on Thursday night.
Great.
Paraguay versus Australia. I got a ticket.
Fantastic.
So might just keep going.
By the way, you better believe that Food Max is not only camel case, it has got 2 X's.
Oh my God, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's great. I bet that's a rough first week for new hires.
The IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship is at Watkins Glen International in Watkins Glen, New York for Salen's 6 hours of the Glen.
Oh my God, 6 hours of Glen. It's been a while since I've had that.
Well, you're a parent. NHRA is in Norwalk, Ohio for the Summit Racing Equipment Nationals. MXGP, the Motocross Grand Prix, is in Portugal. In Algueda.
Yeah, I thought it'd be in Portimao because that's the place I'd go if I had a motorbike in Portugal, but I'm sure there's other great places to go.
Like NASCAR.
Yeehaw.
They also are in Sonoma Raceway for the Toyota Save Mart 350. Same as it was when we went. The Toyota Save Mart. It's the shirt I have.
Yeah, it's a weird one. There's no Save Marts around me.
Yeah, I don't actually know what
Sonoma.
Save Mart is.
I'm guessing it's
guess.
a grocery store,
Yeah.
but we have Lucky's. We have the Yucky Lucky, we call it. Is
Wow.
particularly not nice.
Disparaging.
One,
Yeah.
close to us. Yeah, but I give them like money, items. So,
That's
I'm
the
allowed
deal.
to.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Formula One is also on this weekend. Things kick off Friday, June 26th at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. That's free practice 1, followed by free practice 2 at 11 a.m. Then Saturday, June 27th, free practice 3 is at 6:30 a.m. Eastern, followed by qualifying at 10 a.m. But the race, everyone, Sunday, June 28th at 9 a.m. Eastern. That's what's going on this weekend. Danny, what happened this day in history?
In days of yore, June 23rd, another attempt to portray the world of racing hit the screens today in 1971 when Steve McQueen's film Le Mans was released in America. The film had very little dialogue, but did have realistic racing scenes as the film crew took footage from the 1970 race. A keen racer himself, McQueen was almost ruined when the film was not a commercial success. But his character, Michael Delaney, did come out with a memorable line. A lot of people go through life doing things badly. Racing's important to men who do it well. When you're racing, it's life. Anything that happens before or after is just waiting. Is that a memorable line?
Yeah, it was. Those bars. The delivery is good. The delivery is something. But today also, he's setting up to sleep with the wife, the widow of a guy.
That's when he's in like the little carousel thing or whatever. He's in the little fun fair or something or whatever. Anyway, today in 1991, F1 drivers Johnny Herbert, Bernard Gachot, and Volker Wiedler were celebrating after winning Le Mans 24-hour race. They did it in a Japanese Mazda. It was the first time the prestigious race was won by a car made outside of Western Europe.
All right.
Japan. Good job, Japan. Doing all right in the World Cup as well, folks.
Great.
World Cup. Other sports are available.
Other Eurocentric sports.
Hey, those South Americans aren't going to like that.
Next podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Final thoughts, Danny, before we head to Austria.
Excited. F1 Ring's usually a good time. I'm oddly buoyed by what happened in Monaco, and we haven't talked about form much, but you look, a lot's going to depend on how reliable the Mercedes are. If Ferrari can repeat it, we'll learn a lot about how much of a downstream title challenge we're genuinely going to have cross teams or inter-team, or we know inter-team we likely might. We'll see. But yeah, it's all to play for.
Indeed. Final thoughts, Rob?
Yeah, also there, excited for Austria. It has steadily climbed the charts as one of the best races of the year and invites misjudgments heading into corners. Once again, so critical. Leaving just enough room on the outside for people to think I can get this done, and they can't, but it's important they try.
Indeed. If you would like to support the show and get access to all of our bonus episodes, the early ad-free version of this podcast, and the official Shift+F1 Discord, you can do so over at patreon.com/ShiftF1. Have a good race weekend, everyone. We will see you all next week.